trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, for the record, for the record, for the record, for the record. Been a little too nice for y'all. Now I gotta outprice some y'all. Snake eyes and thanks for y'all. Shoulders on ice for y'all. A6 all the hay. I'm working the ball today. Got lost in the ball and A's. I'm flipping the balls, I'm flipping the all record, I still count wins when they got it. All record, I let them take advantage. I was wildin'. All record deals. Tell them truck the college for the quote. All record, I still want the act, not the ghost. For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, 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 for the record.
I always have to have it on hand, or in my pocket, or in my car where I knew where it was. Because if I didn't know where it was, I'd panic. But that was in the beginning. And in my head, like as time went on, if I lose it or if I can't find it or I misplaced it, I'll just be like, it pops up whenever it pops up. But in the back of my mind, it's more of like, oh my God, I need it. Like, I need to find it. But in hindsight, it's just more of like, if it comes back. If it doesn't, then it was meant to be, and it's a sign that I should stop. Unfortunately, I'm one of those people who don't learn until I go through it. Just know that every year it gets harder to quit. And every year you start to feel the effect.
With me today, we're gonna have a good time.
You've convinced me. I'm ready to switch my account.
Oh my gosh. Specific answer. They're learning quick. Can we Google it? Whatever. Okay. He's a quick study.
There's so many words I'm gonna say. Be careful. It is a love story.
You bet it is.
Fair.
I wasn't done.
Ask the questions that you think are silly. Thank you for joining. Bye.
We only have had e-cigarettes since 2012 or 2011. So it's only been a decade, a little over a decade, and we're getting different chemicals that we don't know enough about, which will probably cause us a lot of issues in the future.
There's nothing better than a Subway Series footlong, except when you add a new footlong sidekick, like the boss with a new footlong cookie. This might be my favorite sidekick ever. What?
Every epic footlong deserves a perfect sidekick.
Vaping has almost become like an obsession, addiction.
I always have to have it on hand.
It's got to be where I know where it is.
If I didn't know where it was, I'd panic.
I stopped pretty quick because I didn't really get the enjoyment I thought I would get out of it.
I've had friends who have used it, and it's a struggle for them.
Find your passion. Find your people. Find your purpose. Find your superior.
some afternoon volleyball. I'm Owen Peterson on the call. I'm a sophomore student here at UWS. Right now, we've got a matchup between the visiting Martin Luther Knights and the home team, University of Wisconsin Superior Yellow Jackets. This pregame show is sponsored to you by the National Bank of Commerce. And going over tonight's game, or this afternoon's game, that is, UWS has a record of 13-7, and they're on a 3-game win streak, defeating North Central last Saturday, Scholastica on Tuesday, and Bethany Lutheran on yesterday. That was. Between UWS and Martin Lutheran, UWS has won the last 7 matchups, and Martin Luther stands at 2-13 on the year so far, and they're on a 1-game losing streak as they fell to Minnesota Morris. We're about 3 minutes away from starting this one up. This is my first collegiate play-by-play call. I work at a radio station in Cloquet, Minnesota, where I do a lot of high school sports, but I'm very excited to get my toes a little wet here in some collegiate sports broadcasting. Very lucky to get the opportunity by both John Garver and Chris Johnson. And if you can't get enough of the Yellow Jackets, tune into Eye of the Swarm, the official podcast of Yellow Jacket Athletics. You can join John Garver and Chris Johnson throughout the year as they sit down with Yellow Jacket student athletes, coaches, and other guests. Eye of the Swarm is available on uwsyellowjackets.com/podcast, Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcasts. And with that being said, we're going to send you to a quick break before the game. This intermission is sponsored by Hovland Incorporated. You're listening to UWS Volleyball on 91.3 KUWS and Yellow Jacket TV. Welcome to Superior, Wisconsin, as we have Martin Luther, the visiting team, the Knights, visiting the University of Wisconsin Superior Yellow Jackets. Just had the starting lineups in the national anthem, and we're getting sets for the opening set. The opening serve is brought to you by, sponsored by Barker's Island Inn. The opening serve is, and University of Wisconsin Superior has a current record of 13-7 on a 3-game win streak. Wins over North Central, Scholastica, Bethany Lutheran. And UW Superior has won the last 7 matchups between UWS and Martin Luther. Martin Luther currently stands at 2-13, and they're on a 1-game losing streak because they fell to Minnesota Morris on their last game. Still unsure who's going to start this, who's going to get the initial serve. Now's a good time to tell you, if you can't get enough of the Yellow Jackets, tune into Eye of the Storm and the official podcast of the Yellow Jacket Athletics. You can join John Garver and Matt Johnson. Throughout the year, they sit down with Yellow Jacket student athletes, coaches, and other guests. Eye of the Swarm is available on uwsyellowjackets.com/podcast, Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcasts. And here's a swing out of UWS's, that's Kendra Peterson. Going to get the swing and the kill for UWS, going to start us off. And here's Claude with her serve, Colleen Claude. And her serve is taken by Martin Luther back row libero. Big swing there out of Martin Luther's, that is Hannah Rodemeyer. And that's going to be a swing and a kill for Martin Luther, evening us up at 1 now. Now for Martin Luther, Karen Aguilar is going to take the serve. Her serve is taken by Savannah Herring. Colleen Claude takes it. O'Brien's going to send it over, and that's tipped down by Rodemeyer, and that's going to be a point for Martin Luther. Here's Aguilar's second serve in a row. That's up. O'Brien takes it. Claude sets up to Smith. Big swing there is taken nicely by Aguilar. And then that hit attempt by Nolt is going to be out of bounds, and that'll be point Superior. Yellow Jackets and the Knights now not up at 2, as Aguilar is going to take a seat. Here's Jones with the serve. That'll be taken by Martin Luther, the defender. Swing there. That's going to be a swing and a kill for Nolte. That's tipped down by, I believe that was Smith or Peterson. But regardless, it'll be point. It'll be a point Martin Luther. Here's the serve now out of Rodemeyer. He taken by Smith. Claude's going to set up Peterson. And here's a swing out of Nolte, going to be blocked at the net. And then a back set to a tip over. Herring's there. Claude's going to set up Hobein. And that's a hit and a kill for Hobein. McKenna Hobein, very talented outside hitter for the Yellow Jackets, as Smith is going to take a seat. Checking into the game for UWS is Sydney Bader. Here's a serve out of Herring. Taken by Martin Luther into the net. Nice dig there by the middle. Here's Claude. Here's going to set up Bader. And that's going to be a hit and a kill for Sydney Bader. Just checked into the game, making an impact already. Savannah Herring now again for another serve. Native of Superior. That serve is going to be handled poorly by Martin Luther's Kieselhorst, the libero. That'll be an ace for Herring. Herring with her serve. There is taken by Powers. Set up there is Human. There's Herring to Peterson. As Human's going to send it back over. Claude's there. Herring. Back to, that's Jones in the back row. And then here's Nolte, blocked at the net. Recovered there by Kieselhorst. And here's Claude going to set up Hobein for the swing and a kill. Good rally by both teams, but the Claude to Hobein connection there is going to make a point for UWS. Make it 6-3, the Yellow Jackets lead. Herring now. Sends that serve over there, taken by Powers, and sent back over is Nolte. Covered by Claude. Herring gonna hit. Hobrein's gonna tip it over. Nolte, that's the middle. That's fight, and that's going to be out of play. Point UWS. Momentum's everything in volleyball, and right now the Yellow Jackets have it. Herring's been on fire with her serves. That serve is taken by Human, and then Human with the with the hit there, and that's going to be out of play. Another point, UWS. Herring now. Her serve is taken there by Human. Set back over there is Fight. Claude's going to set up Peterson for the left-handed swing and a kill. Nice assist there out of Claude, and a nice kill by Peterson. Herring now with another serve. She's been busy already in this game. That's taken by Kieselhorst. Here is Fight with the hit attempt, and it's blocked, and that'll be a point Superior. Herring again, going to take another serve. Taken by Kieselhorst. Here's Kieselhorst from the back row is going to send it over. Colleen Claude's there. And Peterson's going to take a big swing. Tip to the net. Kieselhorst is there. And then there's Fight on this hit. Claude's there. Herring to Hobein. Tipped at the net. Oh, yeah, tipped at the net. And that's going to be point UWS. Had to make sure it was tipped at the net, not tipped by the net and out of play. Here's Herring again now. To the back row, and that's placed perfectly in that back corner. That's going to be an ace for Savannah Herring, and we already have a timeout for Martin Lutheran. Making that score being 12-3. Savannah Herring there on fire with her serves. She, I think that was about maybe 8 in a row, maybe 7 in a row she had taken for the Yellow Jackets. And we're going to get a timeout out of Martin Luther's head coach, Emma Holtzeeder. Already in the game, UWS has 6 kills to Martin Luther's 2. 4 attack errors Martin Luther has to UWS's 1. 19 total attacks out of Martin Luther, however. And UWS has a hitting percentage of .385. 6 assists for UWS as well to Martin Luther's 2. Same lineup out there for the Yellow Jackets. No reason to switch it up yet. Both teams breaking their timeouts now. Herring's going to take a serve again. Savannah Herring now. Her serve is taken by Powers. Kieselhorst will send it over to Nolte. Herring's there. Claude sets it up to Bader there, but that's going to be blocked at the net. Nice block there out of Martin Luther's middle. I think that's Fight. Make it 12-4 now. Superior leads. Here's Zek. It'll be taken by Hobein. Claude's going to set up to Bader, and we have a believe it was a line fault, potentially a net fault on Martin Luther. It'll be a point Superior. Here's the serve there out of Schwartz. As Schwartz is there, sliding there to make that one. Herring's going to set it up to Hobein, and that's going to be out of bounds. Tried to get that far side dot inside the line, just out of play. That'll be point Martin Luther. Also in the game for UWS is Marina Sager. There's Jones and a set to Hobein, and that's just out of play there. That'll be a point Martin Luther. Here's a hit there out of Cook. No, that is not. And then Bader at the middle is going to set that over. That's going to be a point UWS, can make it 14-6. Apologizing, that last hit was Aguilar for Martin Luther. Here's McKenna Hobein now with the serve. Aguilar's there. Here's Aguilar on the hit, that is. Schwartz to Herring. There's Sager there. And Schwartz is there now for UWS. Big hit there out of Jones, and that's going to be a kill for Caitlin Jones out of Bloomer, Wisconsin, transfer from St. Scholastica. Kenna Hobein again for a serve. And that's going to be a net fault, serve fault for McKenna Hobein in the Yellow Jackets, point Martin Luther. Subbing now into the game for Martin Luther is Rodemeyer. Taking a seat is Powers. Here's the serve out of Martin Luther. Schwartz is going to set up Jones there. Caitlin Jones back-to-back kills. Checking into the game now is Sydney Smith. Going to take a seat is Savannah Herron. Bader now getting ready for her serve. Be taken there by Fight out of Martin Luther. Tip to the net. Schwartz to, that's Sager. Here's Aguilar with the hit, and that's going to be off the side of her hand and into the net. Point UWS. Sydney Bader going to take her second serve in a row now. There's taken by Brower, who unfortunately sets it right back to hitting, I believe that was Schwartz, or maybe that was Smith for UWS to get the kill. Here's Bader. And there's Fight there, going to take that. Aguilar, played nicely by Schwartz. Bader sets up Sager, and that's going to be tipped at the net. I believe that was Rodemeyer. And that'll be a point Martin Luther. Checking into the game for Martin Luther is Ella Walls, and she will take the serve. The serve is taken by Hobein. Schmidt is going to set up Smith, and that's going to be off the net and down for a Yellow Jacket kill and point. That's Sydney Smith with the kill. Colleen Claude is going to check into the game along with Kendra Peterson. Taking her break is Gabby Schwartz and Marina Sager. Here's Claude's serve. Taken by Kieselhorst. Set up there by Walls. Big swing there is taken by both Claude and Herring, but nobody there to recover there. That's going to be a point Martin Luther. 19-19, the Yellow Jackets lead over Martin Luther. Here's a serve from Aguilera. Jones is there. Claude, Hobein from the back row. Aguilera takes it. Nolte now for the swing for Martin Luther. Hobein there to recover. Cross-court set from Claude for Jones is blocked. Middle is doing work for Martin Luther. And Peterson tries to get it over the net, tipped at the net, and recovered by the Yellow Jackets. Holbein sends it back over. Here's the swing and a kill out of Martin Luther's Kira Human. Good rally there by both teams. Martin Luther will get the point. Aguilera from Martin Luther is going to take another serve. Be taken by Holbein. Claude will set up Smith for the swing and the kill. Great pass from Holbein to a set from Claude and a beautiful kill out of Sydney Smith. Here's Caitlin Jones now. Going to take her serve. That's going to be taken by Fight. And set up there is Nolte. Herring's going to set up Holbein for the swing. Nice play there by Fight, just going to get it back over at Claude. Here's Peterson with the left-handed swing. Fight takes it. Nice hit and kill out of there by Kiara Human. Just out of the reach of the diving Claude. Checking into the game for the Yellow Jackets is Elena Wilberg. And taking a break is Caitlin Jones. For the serve, Martin Luther, Rodemeyer. That's Savannah Heron. Claude's going to set it up to Peterson. Tipped at the net, and Rodemeyer's there. Nolte's going to tip it over. Holbein recovers. Back step from Claude to Peterson. Recovered by Martin Luther. Fight's going to tip it over. Diving play and just out of the reach and out of play. That's Alina Wilberg attempted to save that one. Nice play, but just out of bounds. Rodemeyer again with the serve. 20-12, the Yellow Jackets lead over the Knights. That serve is taken by McKenna Holbein. Claude sets up Holbein, and that's going to be blocked. I believe that's Lydia Fight, who's been playing very well for the Knights. Again for the serve is Rodemeyer. Rodemeyer's serve. Be taken by Herring. Claude sets up Smith. Kieselhorst is there, and it's going to be well out of bounds. That'll be a kill for Sydney Smith. She will check out of this game. Sydney Bader will check back in. Here's Herring. Her serve. Be taken by Powers. That's Fight trying to tip it over. Blocked by Peterson. And we have a line fault. Peterson saw that one very early, but a little bit of a delayed whistle there, but call was made regardless. Point Superior. And checking out of the game is Herring, and then a new libero in for the Yellow Jackets. That's Lizzie Schmidt. And here's a set and a hit for, I think that's Nolte. And Schmidt just going to send it back over. Fight sets it up over the net. Bader's there. Wilberg is going to set it up as Peterson sends it back over. Wilberg there. Claude over to Bader. Blocked to the net. Schmidt's there. Claude's going to set back to Peterson. Running hit. Kieselhorst takes it. Nolte with the swing for Martin Luther. Taken by Wilberg. Diving save is Claude. Wilberg's going to send it back over. Powers is there. Set up. Back set to Martin Luther's Kira Human, and out of the reach of Yellow Jacket defenders. That'll be point Martin Luther. Checking into the game is Courtney Zeck and Elsa Brower for Martin Luther. Herring checks back in for Schmidt. Here's Zeck. First serve. Holbein just misplays that a little bit. Not enough air under it. Out of the reach of Claude. Here's Courtney Zeck. And that serve was also misplayed by Wilberg, and that's going to be an ace for Zeck and Martin Luther. Zeck again now. That serve, Holbein. Claude. Back set to Peterson. Left-handed swing is taken by Zek, and that hit is out of play. That'll be point Superior. Checking back into the game is Gabby Schwartz and Marina Sager. Checking out is Claude and Peterson. Schwartz now going to take the serve. Kieselhorst is there to Zek. And that's hit over by Martin Luther outside hitter. Schwartz is going to set up Sager. Nicely rallied there by Martin Luther as Savannah Herring recovers. Schwartz sets up Hobein. And that was misplayed by a couple Martin Luther defenders, and that'll be into the net and down for a point Yellow Jackets. 24-16 now. Set point. Schwartz's serve. Kieselhorst takes it. Zek is there. Sent back over. Herring. Hobein with the swing. Tipped at the net. Kieselhorst is there. Sent back over by Fight. Herring now is going to set up Wilberg. And just out of play is that's going to be a point. Martin Luther, 24-17, Superior leads. Kieselhorst now. That is taken by Hobein. Wilberg back to Hobein with the swing and misplayed by Kieselhorst and Powers. And that's going to be the first set. UW Superior wins the first set over Martin Luther, 25-17. And we're going to take a quick break. Your intermissions set breaks are sponsored by Hovland Incorporated. You're listening to 91.3 KUWS Yellow Jacket Sports, and you can also watch live on the YouTube on yellowjackets.tv. Welcome back to Superior. We're in between the first and the second set. The Yellow Jackets beat the Knights that first set 25-17. A total of 15 kills for the Yellow Jackets to Martin Luther's 6. 7 attack errors Martin Luther had over UWS's 6. And then the total attacks, Martin Luther had 3 more attacks at 46 and 43. And then the hitting percentages at .022 for Martin Luther and .209 for Superior. 14 assists for University of Wisconsin Superior to Martin Luther's 6. Both teams had 2 service aces in that first set, and now we're getting set underway for the second set for this afternoon volleyball. I'm going to take some time here, and Yellow Jacket fans, get the gear that the Yellow Jackets wear. Visit the Yellow Jacket Sideline store. Browse the latest styles of gear, including shirts, shorts, sweatshirts, outerwear, and more. The Yellow Jacket Sideline store can be found at uwsyellowjackets.com/shop. As we are getting underway with the beginning of this second set, obviously, University of Wisconsin Superior won that first one. Waiting on the officials to be set and rotations be ready for beginning of the second set. And we're getting set. We'll go with Herring is going to check in for Bader. And Claude also in there. So Smith, Claude, Bader, Wilberg, Peterson, and Herring and Hobein for the Yellow Jackets. For Martin Luther, I've got Walls, Kieselhorst, Nolte. I've got Aguilera. I've got, I think that might be Kreuter. Nope, that is Walls taking the serve for Martin Luther. That'll be taken by Wilberg. Claude will set up Smith. Smith nicely played by Kieselhorst. And Aguilar is going to take the hit. Herring's there. Claude sets up Wilberg on the outside. Great hit out of her. That's a kill for the Yellow Jackets. Just out of the reach of Ella Walls of Martin Luther. Wilberg had some power behind that swing. Here's Wilberg's serve now. Kieselhorst is there. Taken there by Walls. Tipped over by Human. And here's Peterson the other way. Going to send it back over. Aguilar tipped to the net by Smith, who hits it back up to Claude. Hobein takes a swing. Blocked to the net, but down. Point and kill for McKenna Hobein. Wilberg's going to take her second serve in a row now. Kieselhorst has misplayed that one. That'll be a service ace for Wilberg. News around the UMAC as Crown College won earlier today. Wilberg is going to take the serve there, and that's going to be a hit for Rodemeyer. Peterson's there. Diving play by Kieselhorst, but just out of her reach. That'll be a hit and kill for Peterson. Point Yellow Jackets. Here's Wilberg. Her serve taken by Kieselhorst. Walls will set up Rodemeyer. Taking there Herring. Wilberg is going to swing for that one just a little far, and that's going to be a point Martin Luther. Aguilera for Martin Luther will take the serve. And that is just out of bounds. McKenna Hobein wisely lets it go, and that's going to be a serve fault and point Superior. Savannah Herring now will take the serve. Her serve is taken by Kieselhorst. Back set there. Rodemeyer takes the hit. Herring there. Claude sets it up to Hobein. Tries to get it cross court. Kieselhorst is there. All over the place she is. Fight. Swings over. Wilmot's there. Claude sets up Hobein now. Blocked at the net and down. Nicely played by Martin Luther's Kira Human. That'll be a point. Knights. Taking the serve now is Rodemeyer. There's Hobein. Claude sets up to Peterson. Blocked, but Peterson recovers. Claude just going to send it to the back row, and beautifully placed by Colleen Claude. Right in that back corner where nobody was. It's very smart play out of Claude there. Checking in the game is Carly Lohman out of Superior. Also is... lost my sheet. Kate Jantgard. Here's Lohman's serve. And into the net for a service fault. That'll be point Martin Luther. Checking in the game now is Zek for Martin Luther, along with Elsa Brower. Zek will take the serve. Be played by Wilberg. Lohman sets up Hobein. Tipped at the net, but recovered by Martin Luther. And misplayed there as both Brower and Fight were going to send that one over. Interfered with each other there, and it fell in between them. Point Wisconsin Superior. Hobein now with the serve. Is played there by Powers. There's Brower's going to take the swing and out of bounds. Point Superior. Holbein again now. Her serve is into the net. That'll be a service fault and a point Martin Luther. Kieselhorst now. Gonna take the serve for Martin Luther. Jones is there. And that set, I was unsure if that hit from Kate Jamgard was blocked or blocked by the net, but regardless, it's point Martin Luther. Holstad's serve be played by Jones. Lohman sets up Bader. That's played by Powers. There's Aguilar with the swing. Holbrein's there. Jones is going to take a push. Zek's there. Brower. Bauer sends it back over. Brower there. As Lohman takes the hit attempt. Blocked at the net is Jones's swing. That'll be taken by Jamgard as sent back over. Nicely played there by Fight. Out of Martin Luther, that'll be point Martin Luther, making it 8-6. The Yellow Jackets lead. Here's Kieselhorst. Herring there. Lohman's going to set up Jones at the net and blocked. Dug there is Lohman, and Bader's going to send it back over. Powers. Holbein's there. Herring tips it, and into the net. Jones hits it down. Point Martin Luther. A little momentum here for Martin Luther as Kieselhorst making the serve. Jones to Lohman. Back set to Bader. Nice swing for Bader and a kill for the Yellow Jackets. Is 9-7. They lead now. Herring checks out of the game. Sydney Smith now in, playing middle. Here's Bader. Her serve is taken by Powers. Zek to the outside to Aguilera. Holbein's there. Lohman going to send it back set there. That's hit out of UWS's Sager as Bader's there. Lohman to Jones. Played nicely by Powers. Zek gets it back over to Fight. Jones gets to Lehman. Smith left-handed tip over. Zek to Kieselhorst. Aguilera's going to take a swing. Blocked at the net. Kieselhorst is there. Aguilera's just going to tip it over. That was nicely played by UWS's Jones there to make a hit as Holbein's there. Lohman back set there to Jamgard. Played nicely by Kieselhorst. Aguilera now with the swing. Holbein just out of her reach. Saved over there by Bader. Jones gets back over. There's a nice rally going on right now as Lohman sets up to Jones, who swings it over to Powers. Zek is there. Aguilera's going to take a swing. Jones tips up to Lohman. Swing there, Sydney Smith. Aguilera out of diving Powers. Holbein's there to recover for the Yellow Jackets. Lohman over to Jamgard, who tips it far side and dots it perfectly out of the reach of any Martin Luther defenders. Beautiful rally out of both teams as UWS is going to get the point for that one. That one was about 5 points worth. It was a long set. My voice is already tired as we have Zek who's going to set it up to, I think that's Fight. Tipped at the net by Jones and out of play. Point Martin Luther. Herring will check back in for Bader. And there is Powers is going to check out of the game. Serve there out of Martin Luther. Holbein's there. And that's a hit out of Jones and blocked down by Hannah Rodemeyer. 10-9 the Yellow Jackets lead. Getting ready to make the serve for Martin Luther is Lydia Fight. Fight serve is taken by Jones. Lohman's going to set up to Smith. Recovered nicely by Martin Luther. Aguilera's going to send it over. Holbein's there. Jamgard with the swing. Holstead over to Nolt. Herring. Lohman sets up to Smith. Pushes it over. Aguilar's there. Zek back to Nolt. Apologize. That's Brower. As Aguilera's going to tip it over. Holbein's there. Lohman Cross court, Jones, big swing there, nicely played by Fight, and that's going to be tipped down. Sydney Smith's going to get the tip down and the point for Superior. 11-9 they now lead. Claude's going to check in the game along with Peterson. Sitting down is Jump Guard and Lohman. Colleen Claude now going to take the serve. It'll be taken by Fight. Zek Aguilera is going to take it. Holbein sends it back over there, and an unfortunate placement there as Rodemeyer just tips it straight down. Claude had no chance of making a play on that one. 11-10 now, the Yellow Jackets lead. Here's a serve out of Martin Luther, and set Claude to Peterson is taken by Martin Luther, as that's Aguilera, Karen Aguilera from Martin Luther there. Gets the hit and the kill. Need knotting us up at 11 apiece. Here's the serve out of Martin Luther, and that's out of play. That serve taken by Ella Walls for the Knights. Service fault, and that's going to be point Superior. Checking in the game is Lena Wilberg. Caitlin Jones is going to take a seat. Wilberg's serve is taken by Martin Luther. Walls back set there to Rodemeyer. Recovered. There's Claude. Take a swing. There's Holbein. Tipped at the net and down for the point and kill. McKenna Holbein for the Yellow Jackets. Wilberg now. Let me send that one over. Holstead's there. There's a swing out of Martin Luther. Recovered nicely by Colleen Claude, and Wilberg sends it back to her. She just has to get it over. Fights there. Here's a set there for Martin Luther's outside hitter. That's Kira Human. And that's going to be out of play and point UWS. Wilberg again for the serve. Her serve is taken there and misplayed is Fight. That'll be a service ace for Alina Wilberg. Alina Wilberg now. Be Fight and misplayed by Aguilera out of the reach of Hannah Rodemeyer. That'll be another service ace for UWS and Wilberg as we have a timeout. Martin Luther after two service aces for Elena Wilberg. Overall for the game, apologize. We've got a 28 total points. So UWS is 41 as UWS leads 16-11 in this second set. They won the first set 25-17, and overall it's just been a good game by both teams. UWS looking to take this one and go into the third set up 2-0, which is a huge power position for any team. As Martin Luther, even though their record states that they're not the greatest team in the Upper Midwest Athletic Conference, they are playing this game very well. They have had a couple real nice rallies. Just a couple little errors here and there have been affecting their game so far, as UWS has already broken the huddle as in getting ready. There's still about 15 seconds left in this timeout. Martin Luther now breaking the huddle. Elena Wilberg is still taking the serve after her two aces in a row. Big, strong hitter is Elena Wilberg. Got a couple nice kills already in the game. One very nice earlier, that first set. Her serve, taken by Holstead. That's Walls. He's going to set up for Kiara Human, but out of play. That is another service ace for Wilberg, I believe. Maybe not. I'm not too familiar with all the volleyball rules and terminology. Aguilera for Fight, but misplayed there as Smith takes a swing, but blocked at the net. Good swing out of Peterson now as Aguilera sets up to the middle, and that's blocked by Sydney Smith. Claude's there. Holbein takes the hit, and that's going to be a kill. Tipped and out of bounds for McKenna Holbein. Wilberg again for a serve, making it 18-11. UWS leads in this second set. First serve is taken by Fight. That's Walls going to set up Fight in the back row. Misplayed that tip attempt, and it's into the net and down. 19-11 now, the Yellow Jackets lead. First set, it was Herring who had a couple serves in a row, but now it's Wilberg. She just floats that one, tries to spot it nicely. And here's a swing out of Walls. Holsted's there. I apologize, that's Hooman with the swing. Claude's going to set up Hobein in the outside. Big swing and a kill. McKenna Hobein from Colleen Claude for making this one 20-11. Wilberg again for the serve. Taken by Holsted. Walls sets up quickly to Rodemeyer. Herring's there. Claude sets up Smith in the middle. Taken nicely by Martin Luther defender. Wilberg now. Claude's going to take a back set to Peterson. Nice left-handed swing out of Peterson and a kill. Clean Claude with the assist. Peterson with the kill. Here's a serve out of Wilberg, and that's well out of bounds for a service fault. I'm sure nobody's upset with her, though, because she just served like 8 times in a row, getting a nice momentum boost there for the Yellow Jackets. Aguilera now going to take the serve for Martin Luther. As Herring's there. Claude will set up Smith. Quick hit there. And from the back row is Fight into the net. That would make it 22-12, the Yellow Jackets lead. Checking into the game now is Bader for Smith. Savannah Herring back there for the serve. It'll be Holsted. Hits it over to Rodemeyer. Sends it back over is Martin Luther. Bader's going to tip it over and misplayed by Rodemeyer just out of her reach, and Nolt was unable to make a play on that ball. Bader with a nice little tip there for the Yellow Jackets as Herring's going to send this one over. And that's misplayed by Fight, and that'll be a service ace for Savannah Herring. Now Herring after her ace. And this is set point, I apologize, for the Yellow Jackets. Herring serve to Fight, and misplayed again. Another service ace out of Savannah Herring to end this second set. The Yellow Jackets go up 2-0 now on the sets over Martin Luther. There in that second set, UW Superior only had 11 kills as they had a lot more service aces and just misplays out of Martin Luther, as Martin Luther only had 4 kills there. Attack errors were 7-4 as Martin Luther leads that one. And UW Superior had 45 attack attempts to Martin Luther's 41. We're going to take a break now in between sets. This set break is sponsored by Hovland Incorporated. You're listening to 91.3 KUWS and also Yellow Jacket TV. And welcome back to Mertz Motorelli Gym in Superior. In between the second and third sets now, just getting underway with our third set. The University of Wisconsin Superior Yellow Jackets lead over the Martin Luther Knights, 2-0 overall in the match. As first set was 25-17, and that second set was 25-12, both in favor of the Yellow Jackets. Checking into the game now, new face for the Yellow Jackets is number 20, Chency Phillip from Jacksonville. Not the one you're thinking of, though. It's in North Carolina. Recently played at Central Lakes, though, in Minnesota, up in Brainerd. It's a junior college. My roommate went there last year, played a little football there. He runs track now here at UWS. Just getting underway now, getting our rotations all set and officials ready for this one. Phillip standing at 6'3", going to play middle for UWS here. Looks like Colleen Claude is going to take the serve for the Yellow Jackets. Claude's serve is taken by Martin Luther defender. That's Rodemeyer is going to take a swing. Holbein there. Claude's going to set it up to Jones. Recovered there by Walls. A swing there is Human. And Aguilera there on the outside with a hit attempt. Colleen Claude's going to set up Peterson now. Left-handed swing is tipped to the net. Holsted's there. Zek is going to hit it over to Human. And that's going to be out of the reach of McKenna Holbein. And that'll be a kill for Human and Martin Luther. They'll take this third set. Initial point, 1-0 they lead. Aguilar going to take a serve. There's Holbein. There's outside hit to Jones is blocked to the net. She just gets it back over. Holbein there in the back row. Peterson's going to take a swing and just long. That'll be a point Martin Luther as Peterson just didn't snap the wrist enough to get that one down. Kind of just let it soar. Here's a serve out of Aguilera out of Martin Luther. Holbein there. Claude, back set to Peterson, tips it over. Aguilera tips it up. Walls is there. Swing is Human. Herring going to set up. Jones tipped at the net and sent back over. Herring creeped up a little too far, and Holbein wasn't there to cover her. That'll be another point out of Martin Luther. Going to make it 3-0. They're coming out of this third set ready to go. Here's Aguilera now. He's going to get that over to Holbein. Claude, that is, apologize. Phillip attempted to get a swing there, and that was tipped at the net and down for another Knight point. Aguilera now. Her serve. Holbein there. Claude sets it up to Jones, and that's blocked at the net by Rodemeyer. That's going to make it 5-0. Martin Luther leads. This is not exactly the start of this third set that anybody on that Yellow Jacket side was expecting, but they're going to have to recover going down 5-0 at this third set. And that's going to be a service ace, as I don't know if Peterson or Jones was supposed to take that one. And looks like we have a late substitution for the Jackets as Wilberg's going to check in for Jones. Aguilera's serve now is taken by Wilberg. Claude sets it back to Wilberg. Swing is there, taken by Aguilera. Walls over to Nolt. Claude's there. Herring, backward set there to Wilberg, and that's tipped by a couple defenders of Martin Luther, and I think that was 4 hits, as that will be the first point of the set now for the Yellow Jackets. Here's Wilberg now going to take the serve. Her serve is taken by Fight. Walls is going to set up Rodemeyer as Phillip just sends it back over. Holsted's there. Walls outside there to Nolt. And that's going to be tipped over by Human. Holbein now going to take a swing and just tips it in between the back and front rows of Martin Luther for the kill. Nicely played there is Holbein. Now here's Wilberg. That'll be played by Fight. Walls is going to set up Nolt. Tipped by Phillip. And then Herring's going to send it over to Holbein. Tipped at the net as Fight's there. Quick set there for, I believe that's Walls, and just out of the reach of a diving Wilberg. Smart and heads up play out of Walls. I'm a big fan of when the setter on the second hit just sends it over, tries to throw the defense off. Gets a point there. Nicely played by Walls. Here's Rodemeyer going to take the serve for Martin Luther. And that's Herring. Claude's going to take a back set to Peterson. Nicely played by Holstead. Walls sends it back to her. And Phillip tips it at the net. Here's a set. Claude to Holbein, but that's going to be blocked by Fight in the middle. Make it 8-2. Martin Luther leads over the Yellow Jackets. Rodemeyer now is going to take another serve. Rodemeyer's serve. Jump serve is taken by McKenna Holbein. And a racing Claude there to get it back, but Holbein sends it back over. Walls sends over to Nolt. Tipped, and it's diving. Claude saves it. Holbein there, and Wilberg just sends it over and drops it in between defenders on the Martin Luther side. That'll be a point. Superior. Bader's going to check in for Phillip. Here's Herring now, Savannah Herring. Take the serve. Played by Human. Walls gets back to Holstead, who sends it back over. Herring sends it over to Holbein. Tipped at the net. Powers is there. Walls sends over to Fight. Wilberg in the back row takes it. Claude to Holbein. Saved there by, I believe that's Walls of Martin Luther. And then tried to get a block there as Holbein down on the UWS side at point Martin Luther. 3-9, they trail Martin Luther. There's a serve there as Walls. Can be taken by Wilberg. Claude back set to Peterson. Left-handed swing is hit and off the net and dug out there by, that's Brower from Martin Luther. Here's Zek now. Nolte is going to get the hit and the kill for Martin Luther just out of the reach of clean Claude. And we're going to get a timeout out of UWS's head coach, Lynn Diedrich. Very surprising start to this third set so far, as University of Wisconsin Superior has kind of dominated the entire game. First two sets, that is, out of Martin Luther. But do a quick little stat check for this third set, as obviously the score is 10-3 in favor of Martin Luther. So I'm trying to pull up my stats. I don't think I got much as of right now, but yeah, we've got 10 points for Martin Luther to 3 Superior, 5 kills to 2 of in favor of Martin Luther, and then 4 attack errors already in this third set. The rest of the game, Superior only has 10, so they're already in this third set almost up to their total in attack errors. So hopefully this timeout slows down this momentum out of Martin Luther, and the girls get back to where they were in the first 2 sets, as we are going to get out of this timeout and underway with the rest of this third set's action. And have you downloaded Swarm Central yet? The official rewards and loyalty app of the Yellow Jackets. You can get started and receive 200 points just for registering and 200 more for downloading the app. Redeem your points in for cool prizes at the Swarm Central store. Find Swarm Central in the Apple and Google Play stores today. As we did have a point there for Martin Luther, making it 11-3, they now lead. Here's Zek going to make a serve. It's a high serve as Savannah Herring's there. Claude's going to set up to Peterson. Left-handed swings tipped at the net and down. That'll be a point and a kill for Peterson. Rotation now is Schwartz and Maddie Hunter going to check into the game for the Yellow Jackets, and Schwartz will take the serve. Sitting down is Claude and Peterson. Schwartz's serve. Holsted's there and misplays that one for the service ace. Nice serve is Gabby Schwartz, the senior from Plato, Minnesota. Her serve now. Holsted takes it. Zek's going to set up there to fight. Hits it a little long there. Point Superior. Here's Schwartz again. Her serve is going to be taken by Powers. Zek over there. Nice hit there is Martin Luther. Hobein takes it, gets a set from Schwartz, and gets a kill. Make it 7-11 now. The Yellow Jackets trailed Martin Luther. Got a little bit of momentum now cooking up, as here's Schwartz again for another serve. Powers will take it. Zek over to fight. Schwartz is there. Herring sets backwards to Hobein into the back row. Perfectly placed by McKenna Hobein. 8-11 now. Yellow Jackets trailed. Here's Schwartz now with the serve again. Taken by Fight. Zek gonna send it over. Holstead just hits it back over. Herring to Schwartz. Bader is gonna tip it over. Diving play there is Zek. Schwartz there. Herring to Hobein. Big swing out of Hobein's. Tipped the net at the net and down. That's gonna be a kill for McKenna Hobein, making it a score of 11-9 now. Martin Luther leads. Schwartz now. Take another serve. There's Holstead's going to take it. Zek to Brower, I believe that is. And into the net for a point UWS. Now they got a little bit of momentum now, and there's a timeout the other way. Martin Luther's head coach, Emma Holzeder, is going to take a timeout. Common theme for each set. There's been a couple long stretches of hits or serves streaks for each team. That first set, it was Savannah Herring had a very long string of serves. Second set, Elena Wilberg, and now it looks like Gabby Schwartz is going to continue that trend right now as when they get back out of that timeout. She's served, I think, the last 6, I believe. But overall, after this timeout, back up is the kills. Superior leads now 6-5 in kills for Martin Luther. Still got more attack errors after they started very slow in the beginning of the set. Martin Luther has 2 blocks to Superior 0. And in this set, the hitting percentage is .087 to Superior's .038. All right, we've got Gabby Schwartz now is going to take another serve. Her serve is into the net. That is a service fault, as it'll be 10-12 now. Martin Luther will lead. Here's Holstead now for Martin Luther. Wilbur is going to take that. Schwartz down to Bader for the nice set and kill. That'll make it 11-12 now. Superior trails. There's Hobein. Zek there to fight. Who's going to tip it over. Nicely played there is Hobein. Schwartz is going to get it over to Wilberg, who tips it over. Kieselhorst is there. Phillips to Schwartz to Bader. And then out of the reach of Kieselhorst, and that's going to be a kill for Bader. Nicely played by both of them. Evening us up at 12 apiece now in this third set. Hobein now going to take the serve. Kieselhorst is there. Zek is going to get a back set there to fight. Hobein there. Schwartz to Phillips, tips it over, and nicely played is Maddie Phillips. She's going to just tip that over in between the front and the back rows of that Martin Luther defense for the Superior point. Here's Hobein now on the serve. fight there. Zek's going to set it up to Brower, and Bader tries to block that one, but goes straight down, point, and kill for Brower and the Knights. Checking out of the game is Powers, and back in is, that is Rodemeyer. Here's fight serve, taken by Herring. Swartz is going to take a swing as Wilbert, and that's going to be out of play. Last touched by Courtney Zek. That'll be a kill for, I think that was Bader. No, it was Wilbert. My apologies. Already forgot. Now Bader is going to take the serve. That is Brower takes the serve. Zek gets it back to fight in the back row. Swartz is there. Bader going to get it over to Phillips, who taps it over. Fight is there. Zek sets up to Aguilera. Bader's there. Swartz gets it over to Wilbur now, who's going to tip it to the back corner. Just out of play, though. I like the idea, but that's out of play. It'll be point Martin Luther, even us up at 14 apiece, and Bader will sit along with Zek. And checking into the game for the Yellow Jackets is Chesney Phillip. 6'3" middle out of Jacksonville, North Carolina, as Holbein has to duck out of the way of that serve to let it go out of bounds. Claude now checking in the game for Phillip, along with Peterson in for Swartz. Claude is going to take the serve for the Yellow Jackets. Her serve now is sent over to Kieselhorst. Walls gets it over to Human, and that's going to be tipped at the net and down for a kill for Human and Martin Luther. 15 apiece in this third set. If Superior wins this, obviously being up 2-0, they will win the match, and Martin Luther just needs to win this set to stay alive, as Aguilera for Martin Luther is going to take the serve. Wilbur, Claude's going to take it up to, that's Peterson, blocked to the net. Claude back set to Wilbur, who tries to get it cross court, but hits the top of the net and falls on the Superior side. That'll be point Martin Luther. Here's Aguilera. That'll be played by Holbein, I believe, as Peterson's going to take a swing. Aguilera's there. Walls gets over to Nolt. Blocked to the net by Phillips as Peterson tries to get it out. And we do have an official stoppage of the play, and it'll be point Martin Luther. It appears the ball might have hit the antenna or maybe a double hit. I am unsure. 17-15, Martin Luther leads over University of Wisconsin Superior. Aguilera, her serve is long. Holbein wisely lets that one go, as that gets the score back to 17-16. Martin Luther leads. Wilberg now is going to take the serve. That's going to be played by Kieselhorst. Into the net and down for a service ace. Wilbur knots us up at 17 apiece now. Here's Kieselhorst there. Walls is going to set it up to Nolt, but that's blocked to the net by Peterson, as Holbein's going to tip it over. Played by Human. And that's Human with the swing, that is, actually. Claude with Holbein's swing is taken by Fight. Sprawling there is Walls and gets it over Kieselhorst. Claude now is going to set up to Peterson. Blocked to the net by Nolt. That's Walls going to get it over to Human. Tips it over. Herring's there. Big swing now out of Holbein. Just hit too hard and out of the reach of Walls. That'll be a kill for McKenna Holbein. Big swing there. 18-17 now the Yellow Jackets lead after being down at 1 point 10-3. Kieselhorst gets it over to Walls, who it's going to be a difficult play for Nolte there. She had a very ridiculous angle to try to get that on their side of the antenna onto the other side of the court. That's just a hard setup there, and that'll be a point Superior. Here's Wilbur's serve, another one for her. He played by Fight. Walls set it up backwards to Human. Claude sprawls out to get that one. Herring gets over to Wilbur. Kieselhorst. That's Walls gets over to Nolte. Blocked at the net by Phillip. Kieselhorst gets it over to Fight as Herring going to get it to Peterson, big lefty swing, and that's going to be blocked to the net by, I think, Nolt, and that's going to be a point, Martin Luther. 19-18, the Yellow Jackets lead over the Knights. Here's Rodemeyer as Hobein. Claude's going to send it back over to Hobein. Left-hand swings off the net, but played by Walls. Nolt is going to send it over, and a little long. That'll be point. Yellow Jackets 20-18, they now lead. Powers is going to check into the game for Rodemeyer. Here's Savannah Herring now. Going to take the serve. Her serve is taken by Kieselhorst. Walls is going to set up to Nolte as Claude's there. Backwards hit there for Herring to Hobein. It's going to be blocked at the net, but straight down. Hobein's going to get the kill for the Yellow Jackets, making it 21-18. They lead. Herring now getting set for her second serve in a row. Jump serve for her. It's played by Powers. Walls gets over to Human as diving is Claude, just out of the reach of Bader. That's going to be a point. Martin Luther checking in the game. Zek and Brower. Sitting down will be Human and Walls. Zek now will take the serve for the Knights. Her serve will be taken by Wilbur. Claude will set up to Wilbur, but she has to dive to get that over. Nice play by Wilbur as Fight that is going to take a swing and a nice kill there for Fight and Martin Luther. Here's Zek now for the Knights of Martin Luther. Her serve is going to be a lofted one. Claude's going to take it back to Bader, who tips it over. Tipped at the net, but out of play. Point Yellow Jackets, and Schwartz and Phillips, or I apologize, that's Hunter, will check into the game for the Yellow Jackets. Claude and Peterson will take a seat. Schwartz now, 22-20, the Yellow Jackets lead, as Kieselhorst will take it. Zek over to Fight. Diving save there is Schwartz, but Hobein sends it back over. It's blocked, but I think Bader or Hobein sent it back over for the point Superior. 23-20 as Martin Luther is going to take a timeout. Quick stat update in this third set. If I can, I think I'll have to refresh my browser quick. Got a total of 13 kills to Martin Luther's 9. And still attack errors in the favor of Martin Luther, as UW Superior had 8 attack errors versus Martin Luther's 5, although Superior leads this one 23-20 in the third set. Like I said, they lead 2-0 in the match. Superior has 4 more attack attempts, 44-48. And 2 service aces for Superior to the 1 of Martin Luther. Like I said earlier, Superior leads 2-0 in the match, so they're 2 points away from winning this one, as Martin Luther just wants to hold on to this game, try to make a comeback, as both teams break the huddle, and we're getting ready for the last little bit of this third set. Schwartz is going to take the serve for the Yellow Jackets. Her right-handed serve, taken by Powers. Zek gets it over to Brower. Wilberg there. Schwartz gets to Bauer, but nice kill. Good set there, Schwartz to Bauer. Make it 24-20. This is match point now for the Yellow Jackets. Schwartz there for the serve. And that's going to be Schwartz's serve is going to be taken by Powers, sent over to Nolte, and that's going to be off the net and down for the Martin Luther point to make it at 24-21. Now we got match point for Superior. Kieselhorst of Martin Luther is going to take the serve. Wilbur's there. Swartz is going to send it over to Holbein. Holbein's big swing is out of the reach of Kieselhorst, and that's a kill for McKenna Holbein. The Yellow Jackets will win this one to a 3-0 sweep over Martin Luther Knights. Great pass there by Swartz. So back set to Holbein. Big swing out of the reach of Kieselhorst. And that's going to be it for this one. 25-21 that third set as the Yellow Jackets sweep the Martin Luther Knights. I'm going to get you a quick little post-game show, and then we'll get you onto the rest of our regularly scheduled broadcast. So this post-game show is sponsored by Synovus Energy. Overall, it was a 3-0 sweep for the Yellow Jackets over Martin Luther. That first set was 25-17. Second set was 25-12. And that third set, 25-21, after Martin Luther started that very hot. A couple timeouts by both teams, and UWS got their momentum back and was able to come through at the end of that one. Game leaders for both teams for kills. For Martin Luther, their leader was Human. That was Kiara Human had 5 kills, and for Superior, McKenna Holbein had 14 kills in this one. Overall, though, nicely played by both teams. That's going to make UWS advance to 14-7 on extending their win streak to 4 games, and Martin Luther is going to fall to 2-14. Going to make their losing streak of 2 games now. Overall, just a very nicely played game by all the Yellow Jackets and very nicely played by Martin Luther. And if you're wanting more action for UWS athletics, tune into Eye of the Swarm, the official podcast of the Yellow Jacket Athletics. You can join John Garver and Matt Johnson throughout the year as we sit down with Yellow Jacket student athletes and coaches and other guests. Eye of the Swarm is available on uwsyellowjackets.com/podcast, Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcast. This was Owen Peterson on the call. Big thanks to my producers, Bradley Yellis and Gus Shupp, back in the studio. He was my studio engineer. You were listening to Yellow Jacket Athletics on 91.3 KUWS and Yellow Jacket TV. Thanks for listening.
Trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record.